Welcome everyone. Welcome Astha. Thanks for taking our time and helping out the people who are wanting to participate in Godrej LOUD, aspiring to get into Godrej as say summer interns. So Astha is currently studying at SCMHRD. She's specializing in HR and she stood as the national winner of Godrej LOUD last year in 2019. And she interned with Godrej after that. And obviously, we'll be talking about your experience also, Astha, with respect to the internship that you had. So that's about it. If you want to add a couple of things in your in your areas of interest or anything that you want to highlight as your introduction, then you can do that.
Sure. So as Harsh rightly mentioned that I'm pursuing my specialization in HR, you can say that I'm an HR enthusiast and I keep on reading articles. It really motivates me and I think of doing something new for the organization that I'll be joining very soon.
Sure,
So yeah, that's about it.
and also, I mean, because I mean, the reason why you won that competition was a passion of yours. So it will be great if you can give a little background about that also. I mean, apart from being an HR enthusiast, you are also a professional baker, I would say. Now that you have been funded by Godrej and now that you'll be getting your training also from someone whom you always wanted to. So probably if you can throw some light on that, that will also be wonderful in the course of the session, during the course of the session. So that's
Sure.
that's that's about it. So firstly, we'll start with the experience that you had with the competition. What exactly is it all about, and what is the structure of the competition, and how do you go about your rounds? I mean, there would be different rounds, and I mean different stages of evaluation that the company must be having. So can you give us a brief about that?
Yeah, sure. So I'll start with the fact that why does Godrej come up with this competition and not a case study competition unlike other like companies?
Yeah.
So basically, I have interned with the company and I have seen what their culture is about. So they generally believe in passionate people. So actually, they believe that passionate people will make Godrej, will ultimately make passionate Godrejites, and ultimately it will lead to growth and innovation of the company. And they also believe that if they fund the dream or the passion of their people will help them in achieving the dream of the company and the goal of their company. So this is how they came up with the concept of loud. And loud is all about you and your passion. So in your busy schedule in a B school life, you get some time to think and introspect about yourself and your passion. Apart from curating a business solution, you get a you get time to think about yourself, devote to yourself, and dig out deeper what you are passionate about.
Okay. And so, what was your experience? I mean, this was about the competition. So, how did you? I mean, why did you want to participate in this competition? Firstly, because in an MBA setup, everyone wants to run after case study competitions because that's the go-to thing for most of the people. However, I know for a fact that for HR, you don't have a lot of case study competitions which are focused on HR specific cases. So, how did you go about this, or this was something which was already there in your mind when you had explored, or when you joined the business school that yes, Godrej LOUD is going to be my go-to competition. So, how did you go about selecting this competition?
Okay, so honestly, when I joined SCMHRD, I had no idea that there is some competition which exists, which is named as Godrej LOUD. It was I came to know about this competition when it was launched in our campus. So basically, when the competition was launched, I could relate some of my personal values to the values of Godrej, and I found out that it would be a very good platform for me to showcase what my passion is and ultimately achieve my dream. And the second reason is that I would narrate to you my story. So basically, I was passionate about baking, but my dad did not know about it, that I have been baking and selling cakes. Because honestly, I belong from an Orthodox Marwari family, and I was not allowed to do that. I was allowed to focus on academics, and academics. But this was something I could never give up. So I thought that Godrej would give me the perfect platform to convey to my dad that this is something I have been doing, and this is something with which I would also want to do something. So that was on a very personal front for me, and that is how I chose to go for Loud.
Okay. And so, what was the structure of the competition? How many stages are there? How does it start? How does it end? What exactly is this competition all about?
Okay, so basically, after they have launched it for all the campuses, you have to submit your application within 10 days of time, and after which they'll be shortlisting you on the basis of your application. So, not many people get shortlisted in our during our time. Only 10 finalists were there, and from that, we have a grand finale round, which for our time it was in the Vikroli campus of Godrej One, but sadly this time it would go
Yeah,
virtual. And yeah, so we have that opportunity to pitch our dreams in front of the jury and explain to them why should Godrej fund my dream. Because honestly, if I have a dream, that same particular dream can be a different person can also have that same particular dream. We should very nicely convey to them and convince them that you should fund my dream vis-a-vis his or her dream. So that is how the competition goes about. And also, apart from this round, you have a PI round, and that's how that is about it. You do not we do not have a plethora of rounds which through which you have to go.
okay.
So
So
basically,
so so what I understood is there are three rounds. One is the application submission. The second one is the grand finale, and then you have a personal interview.
yeah.
Okay. And what about the winners? If you win this competition, do you directly get a PPI or an internship at Godrej, or do you have to again sit for those interview rounds for your placement or for your internship?
So if we win Godrej Loud, at first they'll fund you with 1.5 lakh rupees with which you can fulfill your dream. Secondly, you get a PPO for your summer internships with Godrej.
Okay, so you get to intern with Godrej, but not like a
Yeah,
final placement.
yeah.
Okay. Can second years also participate in this competition, or is it only for first
Uh,
years?
no, only for first years.
Okay, cool. So now that we have gone through the structure of the competition, could you just explain us the step-by-step approach that you took to, like, I mean, come up with, let's say, a dream, a realistic dream plan? Because a lot of people have dreams of doing something in, say, a specific area. Some people are interested in social service. Some people are interested in something related to, say, gaming or something like that, which is a very innovative field but not widely accepted as like that. So how does someone curate their dream into, say, a presentation or a video that you have to submit for the first round of sec, or maybe pitch in front of the jury? How do you do that? Because communicating your dream to someone, that's a very difficult job, and it's difficult
Yeah,
to even justify, because anyone can make up shit and try to present it just for the sake of winning this competition. But if it doesn't come from inside, you'll not make it. There'll be no connection between you and the jury. So how does one go about having that step by step approach? Because whatever you do, I mean, whichever competition it is, whether it's an entrepreneurial competition or a case study competition, there has to be an approach that you have to follow. So what exactly did you do, and what would you suggest people who are going to participate this year or maybe going forward? What should their approach be?
so yeah, initially you need to figure out what you are passionate about. The starting point is your passion. So first you have to figure out what is your passion, what has been your journey with respect to your passion, and what is the ultimate goal that you want to achieve with respect to your passion. So these are the three things we are actually looking for. And also there are certain facts, like you have to be very realistic about it. You cannot make up things, because eventually they'll end up finding it, and that has any serious repercussions, I would say. And yeah, so at first, the starting point is finding out your passion. Now how do you find out your passion? So there are 2 to 3 categories of people which I would mention. So for me, I always knew that I am passionate about baking. For me, it was not a difficult task to find out what my passion is. But so there can be this category of people. Secondly, there can be another category of people who might be confused between maybe say 2 or 3 things. For example, you may know how to play a guitar, and you may also know how to play a piano, but you are confused which one is your passion. The third category of people would be there who would say, I do not have any passion, or I don't want to do something. But that is not the case. When you dig out deeper, you will understand you obviously have a passion in your life. And it's not necessary that the passion should be related some form of art. It
Hmm.
can be related to anything. So for example, of one of my co-winners, he got a chance to open a chain of salons for the LGBTQ community. So
Hmm.
so you can say, that is not a form of art, but that was something he was passionate about, and thus he ended up doing that. So it need not to be a hobby, it need not to be an art form, it can be anything that gives you that kick from within, that I want to do this. And the third part which I'll come to is the goal, that is your dream. It should be very realistic. You cannot make up dreams. Like, for example, for me, my dream was to be trained by the award winning pastry chef in Malaysia. So your dream can be as simple as that. It is not a necessary, that your dream should be very much accessorized, very much fancy. It can be as simple as that, but that should drive you. And your dream should be smart. That is, it should be specific, measurable, attainable, and time bound. So you cannot say that, maybe suppose you are a very good musician, you cannot say that tomorrow I want to like perform in the opera house. So how would Godrej do that? You should be very much specific and realistic with respect to what your dream should be. It should be, and you should also answer them. How would they help you in achieving your dream? So I'll give my example again. For me, there were two things. Firstly, Godrej helped me to convey to my dad that this is what I was doing. So Godrej basically gave me the platform, the social backing, which I was not getting for this many years. Secondly, it helped me to learn what I wanted to learn since long back. So if Godrej was not there, I would not have been able to do that. So you have to convince them how they would help you to achieve a particular dream. So for example, you might be very good at a particular sport, but you can be able, you would be able to go and fund yourself and maybe get a training. But again, you have to mention to them how would they help you in achieving your dream. So it can be any financial restrictions or maybe social backing or anything, but you have to mention to them how could they help you to achieve your dream. So again, I'll tell one thing, that there are three parameters. What is your passion? What are you doing for your passion? And what do you want to do with respect to your passion? And how could Godrej help you achieve that? And needless to mention, it cannot be an entrepreneurial idea, because obviously, why would a company fund an entrepreneurial idea?
Exactly.
So that, yeah, so that should be totally related to you, your growth, and your development.
Okay. Okay, that was a very lucid explanation of this of the genre of this competition. So what exactly is the time commitment that's required for this entire, competition? How long does it last? Like, if suppose it starts today, day one. So when does it end? Which, day 20, day 30, or day 60? When does this competition end? What's the timeline for this competition?
So you may expect it to end by day 20 to 25. This is not a very long competition, and it does not take a long span of your time, maybe say 6 months to 3 months, because it will. So for this year, the applications are now open. They'll like accept the applications till 10th of this month, and then they'll be declaring the finalists by 21st, and then the grand finale round will be on 30th or 31st. So that is the time span you have to devote for this particular competition.
Okay. And so, what is the requirement of the final round? Like, first round, you said it's an application where a person can either submit a presentation or a video. What exactly do you have to do?
Presentation, video, or you can even submit a PDF.
Okay, any Word doc. Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense. And so, what exactly do you have to do in the second round? And what's the difference between the first round and the second round?
Okay, so you are going to the first round only and only if you are selected as the finalists. So given the fact you are selected as the finalists, you have to make a PPT which you would want to pitch in front of the jury, and you basically you have to practice how would you want to pitch your idea in front of the jury. Basically it is about selling yourself. So
Hmm.
you have to practice how can I sell myself, how can I sell my dream. That is what you have to do in the second round. The majority of the part, or I would say the 80% of the part, is being played by you in the first round itself, because everything depends upon the selection of the application.
Exactly. So, what should be the focus area of anyone who gets selected or gets through the first round and gets to the second round? What exactly should be the way they would present? Is it like a professional presentation, or is it very different? Is it like a dramatic one where you try to show your emotions and like have a mix of voice modulation and tone, pitch? Do these things matter, or is it like just a corporate professional presentation?
So it is not like a professional presentation. It is about you. How would you like to present your presentation? Because again, you're portraying what your dream is. So it's up to you if you want to put in some emotions or maybe some creativity. It's totally up to you. So, for example, last year I had some finalists with me. So one of them was a person who used to perform in theaters. So he started his presentation with some form of acting. So I was into baking. So how did I ended my presentation by presenting a cake to the jury. So it's totally up to you how you are starting or ending your presentation.
Okay. And just like you said, it depends on an individual what kind of a plan do they have and how do they want to go about it. But there would be certain things which you have to put in your presentation, like to make it more attractive or appealing, or just try to make it visually so much appealing that it connects with the jury members. So, what would be the tips that you would want to give to the people who want to participate in this competition? I mean, how should they go about structuring their final presentation?
Yeah, so I will not talk about the final presentation, but then again, I would talk about the application,
Yeah.
because final presentation is just a replica of your application.
Okay.
So basically, there are not many major changes which needs to be done. So
Okay.
I would like to focus on the application
Sure. Sure.
itself. So yeah, so basically you have to keep just a few things in mind. For example, you have to be very realistic and you have to be very truthful. They look for commitment and dedication, and like what are the problems which you have faced while continuing your passion. So there will be many roadblocks, when you are trying to pursue something, be it for anyone. So what are the roadblocks that you have faced, and how determined and persistent you are in going towards your goal. So they look for those individuals. So that is the exact thing. And honestly, there is no secret sauce to this particular presentation or PPT or Word doc. It's just about how do you balance and connect your story with the other side. So it's just, again, it's just only and only about you. So basically you need to take and devote time to yourself and think that how would I like to present my story which would sell in front of the jury. So that is the only thing which you need to do.
Okay. So after, I mean, once you go through the first round into the second round, do you have any question and answer session after you're done with your pitch, or is it just like a pitch that you're done and dust?
Yeah, we have a Q&A section.
Okay, so what exactly do they want to, I mean, get from you out? I mean, what exactly do they look for in terms of the answers to the questions? What kind of questions firstly do they throw at you? And secondly, what are they expecting from people who have already pitched in their ideas? How would they, I mean, question on such ideas? Because everything is subjective. Every sort of an idea is never a foolproof or a foolproof plan. So how would they, I mean, what exactly would they question on with respect to your idea, and how would you go about questioning, answering your questions?
So the Q&A totally depends on you what your dream is and what your passion is. So for different people, it would be subjective again, and also it can be anything which they depend. They might think that they can throw at you. So you should be very clear and well prepared with your passion and with your ideas, so that if they ask you anything, any A to Z related to it, you'll be able to answer it. So, for example, I was asked the question that if you have a bakery, if you are running a bakery, why would you like to join Godrej? So, uh, you know, So they'll link it to your passion and to your dream, and then they'll throw the question at you. So you should be very well versed with your like submission.
So how did you answer this question? Because this was kind of a tricky one, and I'm assuming that you answered it perfectly because you won this competition. So how did you go about answering such questions?
Okay, so I mentioned to them that baking is just my passion, but whereas I have many other things in my life which I consider as hobby, and I do want to train myself with respect to those hobbies. For example, my hobbies are graphology, soap making, painting, etc., etc. But I never get that kick within myself to go and learn that something with regards to particular hobby. But I consider baking as my passion because I'm always in the knack of learning something with respect to baking, maybe learning new techniques, or maybe learning new recipes, or etc., so on and so forth. Whereas I see myself as a manager as my profession. So that is how I have like divided the entire thing in my life, and that is how I would like I wanted to join Godrej as a intern, and that is how I wanted to like continue baking at one side and my hobbies at one side. But on the other hand, I obviously want to see how the business runs and go about it.
Okay, okay, that was great. And that you did your internship at Godrej. How was that internship experience? What exactly was your project? And now that I think you have completed it recently, so you'd be having everything fresh in your mind. So what exactly would you, I mean, say to the people who are wanting to sit for the process of Godrej, who are not going to participate in this competition, but if Godrej goes for campus recruitments, what sort of processes does this company has, and what do they look for in say specific candidates?
Okay, so basically, my project, if you get to intern at Godrej, they'll give you a very recent and the live project which the company has in that particular time frame. They would not give you anything absurd or anything meaningless. Like, the project would be very meaningful and something that would add value to their business. So at a very initial stage, you will be offered with what I would say, like lots of load and pressure. Like, you would be challenged in the very initial stage. You will be challenged to take a very huge projects that you would not even imagine. So that is the kind of challenge they would put you into, and they would test you, because they want to see how you can perform and how you can be better leaders for their business in the future. So my project was on employer branding, and if I talk about the environment at Godrej, which was although virtual this time for me, but it was really very friendly and cordial. You don't feel that everything needs to be very formal, or you not even have to think twice before going to someone and talking about anything related to your project. Like, everyone is very warm and friendly, and like people across the business, across different views, are ready to help you with respect to your project. Even if they do not have anything to do with respect to your project, they'll always be there to help you if you need any help. So that is the kind of warmth you get if you are interning with Godrej. That is the Gurukul program. That is the kind of warmth you receive. And yeah, that's about it.
I mean, any last piece of advice that you would want to give to the students on this competition part, as well as on the hiring process part, which is going to again happen virtually this year? You did your internship virtually, but these people are going to do their internship not virtually, but their process is going to happen virtually.
Process is
So what?
virtually,
So
yeah,
what?
yeah.
So what exactly would your last piece of advice for these people would be with respect to competition as well as Godrej internship?
So basically, just if I talk to you about your dream, believe in your dream and believe in yourself, and just don't let anyone say whether your dream is big or your dream is small, because every dream matters, and it matters because it's your dream. But make sure when you're applying, your dream should be very much realistic and attainable. It cannot be something out of the blue. So that is one thing you should keep in mind. And also, regarding to the internship, you have to put a lot of dedication and hard work and also passion towards your project, because again it is a very new and live project, and you know you would not get something similar ki next se chhap denge, that would not work. So that's it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Astha, for joining and sharing your valuable insights with the students on the competition as well as the internship part. I hope everyone would actually benefit from at least from an approach perspective as to what exactly they should do while filling up their application form. So thank you so much for joining, and all the best to you as well as to the people who are with us attending this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Harsh. Thank you for having me over.